participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Pushing the Limits. Thank you so much for being here on what is a very, very, very busy news day. Donald Trump just made a statement saying that he expects that there probably will be a government shutdown. We're certainly going to talk about that. Joe Walsh is going to be joining us here in a few minutes to give his thoughts. Did you see the speech that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth made earlier today in front of our military officers? I mean, you want to talk about off the rails and crazy stuff. And then we're also going to get into this racist AI video. I certainly think it's racist. We'll get your thoughts on it. Where you see Hakeem Jeffries in a what would you call it? What was the hat that he was wearing in this video? Sombrero. Yeah, that's what you would call it. And I'm laughing because it's not funny. It's actually ridiculous, and it's insane that the president of the United States would retweet this out. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But I figured let's talk to guy who knows a little bit about and certainly probably on my side on this one, but where does the responsibility go? Who do we blame for this? So it's going to happen. My friend, Congressman of Chicago, Joe Walsh, joining us right now. Joe, it's great to see you. I really appreciate your time, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Brian. How the heck are you, brother?
Busy, my friend, and there's a lot to talk about. I appreciate you being here. What do you make of this possible government shutdown? Because I'm confused. Last I checked, Republicans are controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House, but yet they're blaming Democrats. Joe, where do you put the blame on for this?
Oh, Republicans are to blame. They control the federal government. The federal government's shutting down. Ding, that makes sense to me, right? But maybe you disagree with me on this. I was on MSNBC over the weekend, and I changed my mind mid-segment. I don't think the Democrats, this is where that I'm a Democrat, we should fight. Republicans own this government. They own all the bad crap they put in that big, ugly bill, all the loss of the health benefits, the rural hospitals closing up, everything. Brian, until the American people feel pain, economic pain, they're not going to move off of Trump. So if I'm a Democrat, you want to keep your government funded for another couple months, do it, baby, and fight Trump on democracy and the rule of law and his tariffs and all this other stuff.
Joe, so I agree with what you just said. I wanted to ask you this. Republicans are claiming that this is Chuck Schumer's shutdown, and they want to give Medicaid to all illegals in this country. J.D. Vance has been lying. What do you make of the lies being put forth from the far right? Because last I checked, the left, they just want to keep the Medicaid in place, and they don't want 15 million people losing their health care coverage.
J.D. Vance and all the Republicans are lying about all of this. They're lying about illegal immigrants getting Medicaid and health benefits. They're lying about all of it. They've all learned from Trump. J.D. Vance is one of the best at it, to lie. Brian, here's the other thing. Why the hell would you be a Democrat and insert yourself in this fight, negotiate some kind of deal with Republicans that Republicans are going to renege on anyways? My God, the Supreme Court has now told Trump 5 times, you don't have to spend congressionally appropriated money. You can do whatever you want with it. So anything the Democrats get in a potential deal, Russell Vought and OMB, they're just going to go back on it and renege on it. And Trump will decide, I'm not going to spend that money. So why even go down that road?
I tend to agree with you, but how nasty is it going to get here over the next week or so, where obviously Republicans are going to be blaming Democrats, Democrats are going to be blaming Republicans, and meanwhile, nothing gets done in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah, by the way, many of the Republicans are on vacation right now. If they really cared about not getting to this point of a government shutdown, wouldn't they come back to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, but they feel like they've got Democrats by the short hairs. Brian, this is why I think the Democrats misplayed this from the beginning. Like their voters, you and I hear from them, they want us to fight. But pick your fights. I want to fight Trump. Trump is destroying this country. That's the fight I want. If the government shuts down, then Trump can say the Democrat. It just complicates things. No,
Yeah.
Democrats from the beginning should have said, you want to keep all your bad stuff going and keep the government funded, fine. Do it. They should have done what they should do right now is just say, okay, screw it. We'll keep the government funded and just ignore it and move on.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, former presidential candidate Joe Walsh, former congressman, now a Democrat, joining us right now on the program. So, Joe, obviously the last time I had you on the show, it was horrible circumstances. Obviously, you knew Charlie Kirk very well. You used to work with him. You helped him form Turning Point. The thing that really frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates you as well, is many on the right, including Donald Trump, are blaming the radical left for the actions of one 22-year-old nut job. And then all of a sudden we have this Trump supporter, clearly he was, who goes into this church and kills a bunch of innocent people. And then all of a sudden that's an attack on Christianity. Could you imagine if that was a guy wearing a Joe Biden shirt who did that? I just think, they're so disingenuous. They blame the left for all the political violence. And then when a Trumper goes into a church and starts killing people, oh, well, that's just an attack on Christianity. That's not the right.
Here's the truth, Brian, that too many Democrats and most Americans don't get yet. And I say this as someone who comes from the right. The right wants a holy war. They do. They want a religious war. They want a civil war. That's why, and the Charlie Kirk assassination was like the catalyst for them just to go all in, good versus evil. They literally, Brian, want a holy war. Yeah. And Democrats better wake up to this. Christian nationalism is, most Americans don't really understand the threat this is, but the most animating aspect of the Republican Party base right now is the desire to make America officially a Christian nation. This is scary stuff. It's antithetical to America, but it's driving the party right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Last question, Joe, and I appreciate you coming on. I want to talk a little bit about this AI video. We've never seen a president, do anything like this before. I think most would say it's got racist, tones in it, where you see Hakeem Jeffries wearing this sombrero hat, and you have Chuck Schumer in an AI video. Clearly, he didn't make these statements saying we're going to lose even the votes from the blacks in the video. And it's really offensive to a lot of people. And people on the right don't seem to have a problem with it. What was your first reaction when you saw this video? And can you believe even somebody like Donald Trump tweeted that out on Truth Social?
Yes, I could believe it. And my first reaction immediately was every Republican will blame anybody else but Trump. And it reminded me, Brian, of how we Republicans believed fervently in individual responsibility until Trump. And the minute Trump came along, we no longer believe in individual responsibility, Republicans. Like every time Trump lies, it's not his fault. Every time Trump says something cruel, divisive, or ignorant, it's not his fault. Brian, that's just Trump being Trump. Hey, Brian, he was just trolling you. Hey, Brian, the media sucks. It's like Republicans hold Trump to the lowest possible standard. So I blame them. This is who Trump is. I'll close with this, Brian. The president of the United States today is prepping our military for orders to fire on American citizens. I know everybody's having fun with that stupid event today where he and his 17-year-old defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, spoke in front of 800 generals. The truth is much scarier. Trump is prepping our military leaders for orders to fire on American citizens on our streets. It's coming, and the only question is, at the command level, will they follow those orders or not? This is really scary.
Do you think they will?
They didn't in the first term. Remember, Trump ordered the military to fire on protesters in D.C. in the first term, and
right.
His Secretary of Defense, Ann Milley, said, no, sir. Trump's gotten rid of a lot of these people. He's surrounding himself with loyalists, even in the military. So, Brian, I don't know if they would follow those orders.
Yeah, I don't either, Joe. It's a good point. Scary times we're living in right now. Always appreciate it when you take the time to come on, Joe. I love you. And we'll talk to you soon, my friend. And I love watching on MSNBC and CNN. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Bri.
Take care, everybody. Joe, that's Joe Walsh, everybody. He will be running for president again, but as a Democrat, former Republican presidential candidate and former congressman. Love having Joe on the show. Speaking of which, I also love having this guy on the show. Joining us right now, Mr. Leonard Cardinal, who is officially my co-host Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The listeners are getting what they wanted. They wanted more Leonard, and they got it. Leonard, what's going on, man? How's it going?
Good morning. Good to see you. And don't forget, when you go out of town, you'll be on the like StreamYard, and I'll be in studio. So
I do have a date for you right now, actually. So I was invited to play, not that I'm a celebrity or anything, but I was invited to play in a celebrity charity golf tournament. Some guys from Seinfeld are going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm taking the day off on October 15th. So Leonard, that'll be his first in the hot seat hosting the show. So there you go, Leonard. Are you ready?
I'll do my best.
I think you'll do just fine.
Don't act like the Americans at the Ryder Cup, because that was embarrassing.
That was really bad. Absolutely. We can definitely get into that. But so there was a Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, what would you even call it? A few speeches that were made in front of all these generals and heroes, quite frankly. And I want you to listen to Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump in their own words, and some of the crazy stuff and the insane stuff that they had to live
from, like another realm, like another planet.
Yeah, I mean, this is really some crazy stuff. It's insane, and I'm not going to play you every single clip, but maybe a few highlights of how bad, crazy this speech was. Listen to Donald Trump, and keep in mind, America's highest-ranking military officers were forced to listen to this. Just have a listen to this.
Beautiful paper, the gorgeous paper. I said, throw a little more gold on it. They deserve it. I want the A paper, not the D paper. We used to sign a piece of garbage. I said, this man's going to be a general, right? Yeah. I don't want to use this. I want to use the big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position, and they're beautiful. And, but how would you like to have that where some kid sitting in the back office is having it signed with an auto pen? I thought about it, and I thought about you people first, admirals, generals.
What the hell is he talking about?
Were you ever at a family gathering and there's like an older guy that's been drinking, that's kind of on the picnic bench in the corner and just rambling, and people are trying to make sense of where he's going with it?
What is he saying? What is he talking about?
He's talking about the quality of paper that generals get when they're promoted, and writing in gold instead of ink, and what happened to Doge and having a budget and keeping costs down. What happened to all that?
I like it how these highest-ranking military officers, they're sitting there in their chairs, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but there was no applause or anything. I give them credit for that.
Until he threatened him.
Yeah, and it's just insanity. You have these officers that are going to be going back to their posts thinking their commander-in-chief is literally insane, and the Secretary of Defense wants them to commit war crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. This is Pete Hegseth, the woman abuser, saying that he doesn't want any more dudes in dresses. Listen to this.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
Oh, really? This is the same guy, the woman abuser, by the way, who installed a makeup studio in the Pentagon. And he's talking about no more dudes in dresses.
Brian, what he's saying is no more fairness in the world, no more civil rights, no more ability to be who you are when you want. As long as you do your job, as long as you meet the requirements of the military, you should have a right to be whoever you want.
I mean, these are the highest-ranking military officers in this room having to listen to this bumbling idiot Donald Trump.
Can I say something on that
and
real
Pete
quick?
Hegseth, yeah.
Before we move on. So Trump says to them, oh, yeah, the crowd's kind of quiet. I don't know if you remember this part. and he says, not much clapping or laughing, but that's okay. He says,
I got that clip. Yep,
oh,
I'll
do you
play
have
it.
the clip?
Yep,
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
playing that. But I mean,
Yeah, we could talk about it on the
Pete
other side.
Hegseth, whose own mother called him a woman abuser, by the way, up there talking about how he doesn't want dudes in dresses. I mean, it's just insanity. And then you have Donald Trump talking about his fellow Americans as enemies to be taken out. I am not making this stuff up. That's exactly what Donald Trump had to say earlier today.
That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly.
He's talking about our enemy being fellow Americans being taken out and comparing them, I guess, to our foreign adversary. I mean, it's just
Well,
it's
he has no
unbelievable.
knowledge of geopolitics. For instance, the Congo has 70% of the world's cobalt. Are you telling me we don't need to do business with them? Are you telling me that we should let the country be destabilized so we can't get any natural resources? That makes no sense. He doesn't understand the connection. So what he really wants to do is attack Americans, especially Democrats and maybe independents. And this is just a silly, grandfather, crazy justification for attacking his own people, I guess. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah,
to me.
it's just unbelievable. And this is the point in the speech earlier today where he's literally taught. We know that the deployment of these troops in these cities is insane, unless you're just a complete moron. That's not what these people are trained to do, and it's insane. It's about owning the libs. And this is the point in the speech where he's talking about that, and he's saying that we should deploy members of the National Guard to these cities and use it as training. This is what he said. Have a listen to this.
Very important mission. And I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid.
I would
They
love to
threw him
hear
out of his
him.
family business. He was so stupid. I know the family. He becomes governor. He's got money. Not money that he made, but he ran for governor, he won, and now he criticizes us all the time. And last week they had 11 people murdered, 44 people shot. The week before that they had 5 people murdered, 28 people shot. Every weekend they lose 5, 6. If they lose 5, they're considering it a great week. They shouldn't lose any.
Make no mistake about it. That is Donald Trump saying that the troops being deployed of the National Guard to these cities, using it as training grounds to go after American people in this own country. Have you ever heard anything like that?
I would love to see. I did a lot of training. I was a trainer for the beginning of my career for many, many years. I certified people to be trainers, so I know a little bit about it. And I would love to see him or Pete Hegseth connect the dots on how they're going to transition from military training at a military facility to go into the streets of the major cities and do their training there. I just don't understand what kind of relevant training he thinks they can get by going into the cities.
By what? Doing some gardening work? By going into these cities and doing some lawn work? Because we've seen some of these National Guard members picking up garbage and stuff. That's their training.
The parks do look good.
These people that want to risk their lives and are risking their lives for their country, and this is what you have
They
them
didn't.
do.
Come on, they didn't sign. Let's say it like it is, Brian. They didn't sign up for that. No
Of course they
military
didn't.
signed up. No, they were proud of their country.
Yep.
They want to go fight. They want to defend us against the world, and they have them picking up cigarette butts
Oh, I
with
agree.
a plastic bag in the middle of
I
Memorial
agree.
Park.
It's embarrassing, quite frankly. It's embarrassing what they're having these troops do. And this is Pete Hegseth, in his own words, basically saying that they want to make war crimes legal. We know about that the boat that they went after and people on that boat, and they claim that, well, these were drug dealers, as if you can just execute somebody and murder somebody because you suspect that they're smuggling drugs into the country. And their defense of it is, well, you know what? They deserved it.
Yeah, but there's a maritime laws that protect you when you're on the water.
Right.
And they're completely ignoring them.
Right, completely ignoring them. So this is Pete Hegseth, Leonard, in his own words, basically, and you tell me if there's another interpretation of this, because this is how I interpret it, basically saying that they're making war crimes legal. Have a listen to this.
But you should not pay for earnest mistakes for your entire career. And that's why today, at my direction, we're making changes to the retention of adverse information on personnel records that will allow leaders with forgivable, earnest, or minor infractions to not be encumbered by those infractions in perpetuity. People make honest mistakes, and our mistakes should not define an entire career. Otherwise, we only try not to make mistakes, and that's not the business we're in. We need risk takers and aggressive leaders and a culture that supports you.
I interpret that, Leonard, as we're going to make war crimes legal.
And if
He's
they
calling
like
them
you,
mistakes.
they're going to delete your file so that they can promote you, and you can make a deal with them. But what's more coercive than saying to someone, "Hey, we'll move you up, but we're going to expunge your file. So are you with us?" What is everyone going to say?
Yeah.
Especially if
Good
they
point.
have a bad reputation and their file's full of negative information, they're going to want that gone. But they're giving them a green light to pretty much act however they want.
My biggest issue with this administration, and trust me, I have plenty of them, but there's no accountability. There's no checks and balances. And basically, Pete Hegseth is saying, hey, you can commit a war crime, but it's not going to end your career. We'll make it legal. That's really what he's saying. That's how I interpret those statements, and I would imagine a lot of you interpret it the same way. So as you know, Donald Trump is a dictator, or at least a wannabe dictator, and running an oligarchy. Those people that were sitting there, the highest-ranking military officers, they're not supposed to be clapping. They're supposed to be sitting there and listening like they were doing. But this is Donald Trump basically threatening them for not clapping. I mean, this is insanity. Listen to this.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
There goes your rank, and there goes your future if you don't clap for me.
Is that not North Korea, where they all have to sit there and they have to clap, and if one of them doesn't, they not only throw him in jail and his family, and they also take away his rank. I mean, he said, oh, you could just, you don't have to stay. You can go out in the hallway, but if you do, just, might lose your rank and your future.
Yeah. And Leonard, I'm
That's
trying
not a threat?
Of course it is. And Leonard, I'm trying to understand this. I don't care what side of the aisle somebody's on. If you watch that speech that Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump made to some of the highest-ranking military officers in this country, and you weren't alarmed and embarrassed, then there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry, I watched that live this morning, and I'm disgusted. Every single day I'm disgusted by this administration.
That was un-American.
It's
what they did this
beyond.
morning, because I say that the Dems and the independents and the people who believe in truth and common sense are the real Americans. What I saw this morning, in my opinion, was un-American. That is trying to tear down what America is and shape it into something that rivals 1935 in Germany.
Exactly what I was going through my mind when I watched it this morning. And, I don't use the term Nazi. I don't like to. I don't like to make comparisons to Adolf Hitler, who was responsible for killing 6 million Jews, 13 million people. But I'm at the point now where I say to myself, I understand why people say that. I'm not saying I would say it, but I'm saying I understand why people make those comparisons.
Do you know that in 1935, the Fuhrer had a similar get-together, all the top generals, all the top people in his administration, and it was for one reason. It was to basically give a loyalty pledge and for them to understand that they weren't necessarily going to follow the rules of the legislature and the standing rules that guide the country, that they were going to be taking orders directly from the Fuhrer. Do you know that exact thing happened in 1935?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
that exact meeting. Is it a
doesn't-
coincidence?
No, it's not. I don't think it is, and I think this is at the hands of Stephen Miller and running it down to Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. And this is, listen, they are an embarrassment, but as you use the term un-American. Yes.
Can we say that? Is that too harsh?
No, this is un-American, and it is the opposite of what this country is supposed to stand for. You have so many brave people in that room, and I can't even imagine how many General Millies there are like him in that room that are just disgusted with what they heard. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few, that support Trump. I'm sure there's a few that didn't have any problem with it, but I would absolutely be willing to bet that the overwhelming majority of people that were in that room were embarrassed by the statements that Pete Hegseth made, were embarrassed by the statement that Donald Trump made, and I quite frankly don't know how you could be a brave man or woman serving in our military or someone who served, somebody like you that has a law enforcement background, and be okay with those speeches that were made this morning.
Oh my God, if they ever sent a news commentator in to try and pump us up and give us esprit de corps, let me ask you, do you really need to have a esprit de corps meeting with generals who've been doing it for decades?
No, you don't.
And admirals
You don't.
and lieutenant generals and lieutenant colonels and people who have run the military through the Pentagon for decades and have dedicated their entire life, and you have somebody who's a news commentator. I'm sorry, this is my opinion. I don't know if it's too harsh, but that was embarrassing.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it's too harsh at all. I think it's a complete embarrassment. I feel
What
sorry.
is he doing on the stage?
Oh,
What is
this
he
is
doing?
awful.
Marching up and down, calling fat generals and saying you guys need to get in shape, and saying that, women, if you can pass a physical fitness test, I'm cool with that. But if you can't, it is what it is.
Well, then what about the commander-in-chief? Does that mean the commander-in-chief should step down? Because last I checked, Donald Trump is a morbidly obese man.
They're saying he's like 90 pounds overweight.
Yeah. Should that mean that the commander-in-chief should step down then? According to Pete Hegseth's standards, Donald Trump, who, yes, is morbidly obese and disgusting.
Does the commander-in-chief have to pass the same physical
Shouldn't
requirements?
shouldn't he have to pass the same physical requirement
Because
as anybody else?
Pete Hegseth did not split hairs. Am I right? He said everybody.
Yeah.
He said every single person has to have the same physical standard regardless.
Donald Trump could barely even swing a golf club, let alone...
He wins every tournament.
Yeah, he's the club champion. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So anyway, in closure with this, as you said, it's un-American. It was an embarrassment, and this is what we should expect.
That's kind of a harsh word, but I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I see.
Listen,
I think
when
the
you-
Americans are the people like you, the people that tell people who are watching and listening the truth and say, no, that's crazy. This is what's really happening. These are what your civil rights really are, not what they're saying.
Make no mistake about it. When you talk about deploying the National Guard into cities, going after American citizens, and you say it's a good idea to do this all over the country because it'd be great training grounds for them, you want to talk about un-American, talking about our own people in this country and comparing them to our foreign adversaries in other countries is so beyond the pale un-American.
Is it
It's
incremental
despicable.
martial law? Isn't it incremental martial law?
Sure.
That's the way I look at it. I have some friends, I talked to them about it, they don't agree, but I think that's what the future holds. I think he's making up these empty excuses to move the military into all the major cities. So when the midterms come and he says there's not going to be an election or possibly Democrats won't be able to vote, everyone's going to be protesting, everybody's going to be up in arms, and the military's already going to be in place. Or is that too conspiracy theory, you think?
No, I could see that absolutely happening, and I'd put everything on the table. But, Leonard, it gets worse. Now, as you know, and Trump just made the statement, most likely there's going to be a government shutdown tonight at midnight. Now, let me just give you a little bit of background for my slow MAGA supporters that are listening to this show. You see, the Republicans control the House. The Republicans control the Senate. The Republicans control the White House. You can disagree with the Democrats for what they want, but the government shutdown only happens if Republicans allow it to happen because they are in power. So anybody on the right that says this is Chuck Schumer's government shutdown, you're either ill-informed or you're lying. Now, with that being said, Republicans and Democrats obviously have a lot of disagreements. The Democrats want to keep the Medicaid health care plans in place for everyone, which I absolutely agree.
Affordable care.
Yes. And the Republicans are saying F you. That's basically what this comes down to. And the Republicans are on vacation. If they really didn't want a government shutdown, wouldn't they come back from Cancun and maybe try to negotiate with the Democrats? Well, guess what? They're not doing that.
They're already home.
Yeah.
The Republican senators already left.
Yep.
And today, I think just about every, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, every Democratic senator was on the front stairs this morning saying, we're ready to work. We're ready to do our job. And Trump canceled the meeting last week, or they would have been negotiating for a week instead of a day.
Because Donald Trump wants chaos. Now, I'm going to play this audio for you in this video. And I can't believe I have to play this. I cannot believe that we are living in a country where the President of the United States will put out videos and endorse racism. As I play you this, it is an AI-generated video of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero, and they're playing Mexican music in the background. And obviously these are statements that Chuck Schumer didn't make. They're grotesque. They're racist in nature. And this is the type of video that Donald Trump seems to endorse. Keep in mind, just a few weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Have a listen to this.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
Until they learn English and realize that they hate us
that was a
too.
disgusting video for the President of the United States to retweet or
How reprehensible.
repost.
By the way, for the record, if you're an undocumented immigrant, you cannot vote in a presidential election. It is illegal. So that is also a
And you
lie.
can't get Medicare and Medicaid
Right.
and Social Security. You don't qualify for any of that.
It is all a lie from the Republicans. But the fact that 2 weeks after his so-called friend Charlie Kirk is murdered in the worst form of political violence, these are the videos that he puts out. I'm wondering how any Republican in office can defend that. Now,
Well, they believe that.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked about it earlier today.
Yeah.
And I think he has responded to it the way he should have. Here's what Hakeem Jeffries had to say about this.
The next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
He's right. He has a right to be angry. Even black people won't vote for us. And then you have the sombrero and the Mexican music, and they think this is funny. Donald Trump thinks this is funny. Well, guess what? It's not. And everybody should be offended by this. Everybody.
Yeah, but his base believes it. That when he says that they're trying to save, medical coverage, that it's going to go to the undocumented, and that's what Democrats want. That's not accurate.
No, that's
not. That's
accurate.
not even close. But
It's
they
a
believe.
lie.
But they believe it. They believe it all. They suck it all in.
And
they
they're the
go,
ones that are going to be losing their medical coverage.
75% of the Midwest, where he got a lot of votes, rely on SNAP program. They rely on Social Security. They rely on all kinds of social programs.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, what's wrong with social programs?
Nothing.
I don't have a problem with it.
Nothing.
They,
But Republicans do.
do they want to build their own streets? Do they want to put up their own street lights? Do they want to be the police or the fire when they call 911? Do they want to put up their own park? You see what I'm saying? They don't want to pay taxes.
But,
and they call it socialism. But without socialism, we wouldn't even have a street to drive on.
But, Leonard, this is the kind of video that I would expect from a racist MAGA Republican on social media, with no following, that would just, put a video up like
Who
this.
doesn't care what people think?
Right, who doesn't care?
Right.
The President of the United States put this video up for all to see. And I wish somebody in the media would ask Caroline Leavitt or Donald Trump, why would you do this? What is your reasoning to do this?
It's racist. Come on. I mean, what else can you call that other than racist?
Of course it is.
And what about not to get into a different subject, what about the med bed that he reposted?
I saw that. Yeah.
That's not even a real thing.
Yeah, it's conspiracy theory nonsense. And when the right blames the left for political violence, I want you to look at just the way Donald Trump has behaved and what he's done and what he's said just in the last several weeks since Charlie Kirk was murdered. At his own, you want to call it not necessarily a funeral, but I'm not sure what you would necessarily call it.
Celebration.
But, yeah.
Rally.
He called people that he disagrees with, basically all Democrats. He said he hates all of them. He wants what's not
Is
good
that
for
hate
them.
speech? That's what I was. Why is no one making that point? Isn't that hate speech?
Of course it is.
Didn't they say hate speech is not allowed?
Of course it is. When he's asked how he's holding up, he says, "I'm fine," and then he starts talking about this stupid ballroom
Like
that he's
Hedwig.
building. Yeah, it's insane. And then he's putting up these kinds of videos. It really is despicable and disgusting, and I really don't know other words to use. And we're facing a government shutdown here, and there's plenty of people that rely on those checks to put food on the table for their families. And make no mistake about it, every single time Mike Johnson or any MAGA idiot goes on television or does a press conference and blames the Democrats, just ask them one very simple question. Who's in power right now? Who's in charge of the White House? Who's in power? Who's running the Senate? Who's running Congress?
But his response to that was, well, we need Democrats to agree. We can't pass it by 60 votes. We only have 53. But here's the problem. When you present someone with a proposal that you already know they're not going to agree with. I did lots of negotiations as a union president with the city, and when you make a proposal and you already know the person's not going to agree to it, you can't blame that person for proposing something that you knew they weren't going to agree to in the first place.
And you're right, Leonard, and what makes this even worse, and I've been saying this for a while now, all the Democrats want is to keep the health care coverage that people have in place, okay? They're not even asking for more right now. What they're asking for is the people that are going to lose their Medicaid, let's make sure that they don't lose their Medicaid and make sure they maintain the benefits that they have. Republicans want to strip that away in this big and beautiful bill, of course.
Well, the Affordable Care Act, most of the subsidies are going to expire December 31st of this year. So now that we have the leverage, because it's the only leverage that the Democrats have, they're trying to use it to say, let's agree to those subsidies, nothing new. But did you know that the average family will have to pay about $5,000 more a year when those subsidies are taken away, and it's going to affect 14 million people?
Yep.
They can't. A middle-class family, they can't even afford what they're paying now.
Right.
How are they going to pay another $5,000? So
Good
all they're
point.
asking for is to keep the subsidies that are already in place.
Yeah.
But the Republicans are acting like they're asking for something outrageous or something new or something for undocumented. It's a complete lie.
It is a complete lie, whether it be J.D. Vance, Caroline Leavitt, anybody in the Donald Trump administration. But going back to what I was just saying earlier, make no mistake about it. This is a racist video. It has all the dog whistles
Yeah,
in
what
it.
else can you call it?
It's utterly disgusting. And I'm amazed, even at this point, that there's anybody out there that would defend it. But the chances are, if you're defending this video that Donald Trump has endorsed and put out there on social media, then you're probably the same person that thinks if you're a migrant, undocumented or documented, you don't want brown people in this country. And it goes back to what I said earlier. This is not about making America great again. This is about making America white again. And if you don't believe me, just go back and watch the video that we just played that Donald Trump has endorsed and put on his social media platform. And if he's not endorsing
It's patently racist. How could you call it anything else?
It's 150% racist. And it's sick. And guess what? Anybody out there that defends this video, you can go to hell.
And they're the same. Are they not the same person? If you're defending what you just saw and saying I agree with them, are you not that same racist? Are you not that same person? Are you not defending it because you are the same? Can I assume that, or is that too much to assume?
No, I'm going to take it a step further. This is a video that I would expect somebody from the Klan to put out there, really. I mean, really. I'm not joking. I'm not gaslighting here. I would expect somebody wearing a white hood to put out a video like this, talking about black people, talking about Latinos, having the House Speaker with a sombrero on his head, playing Mexican music in the background. This is something that I would expect from a David Duke or a Grand Wizard.
Not to mention the minority leader of the House of Representatives,
Right.
the minority leader of the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
These are not just people he happens not to like. These are people who are prominent and have earned their spot and are relied upon to lead large groups of people.
I am just, when I saw this video,
It was embarrassing.
I was embarrassed for the country. It seems like every single day it's something new, and we are going to see this for the next 3
No
years.
decency. Decency
No,
died.
none.
Decorum died. Having some kind of character. Seems like they're not interested in people who have character anymore.
Attacking minorities, attacking somebody just because they have a D next to
Women
their
in the
name.
military.
Yep. Women in the military. Yep.
LB,
Yep.
GTQ.
Yep.
all being attacked.
It's really mesmerized at the times we are living in today. And Donald Trump puts this video out again. I add again for some context. 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk is murdered, it's just insanity, and it's going to continue over the course of the next 3 years. So here's what I want to do. I want to take one quick break. And when we come back, we are going to get to the phone calls on the other side. That number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283. We just had former presidential candidate Joe Walsh on the show. Yes, he believes that there will be a government shutdown. He is blaming Republicans, not Democrats. We've been talking about this absolutely embarrassing and crazy video that Donald Trump put out that I believe is racist. I think most people do. An AI video that has Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer in it. And also we've been playing cuts from this meeting that all these highest-ranking military officers had to listen through, where Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth making just absolutely ridiculous comments and statements.
And Brian, what about the rest of the world? Everyone in the world is watching that embarrassing display of military. I don't even know what do you call that? It's foolishness.
It's an embarrassment.
Can we invite, since people are calling in, invite Republicans to call in
and
maybe to give an intelligent, lucid argument?
I would love to hear from a MAGA Republican why they think Donald Trump's speech earlier today,
or a conservative Republican, any Republican. Call in, tell us why you agree.
I would love to
tell
hear
us why you support that.
Any American, or anybody for that matter, Republican or Democrat, defend this video, this racist AI video that Donald Trump has put out there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 90 seconds with your phone calls at 702-221-7283. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice
All right, welcome back. It's Pushing the Limits on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Programming note for you. The ever so popular Adam Mockler is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. Always fun catching up with Adam. He's everywhere. He's on these CNN panels. He's on Cuomo.
Crushing it.
And he does a great job. So it's funny. I helped get Adam on the Pierce Morgan show, and then he just blew up.
He did. He cooked.
I'm not taking any credit for it. He deserves it.
No, it was a good move. He cooked Scott Jennings
on
live TV in front of everybody. He cooked him.
I'm going to talk to him about that tomorrow. Besides Adam Mockler, we've got the Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, that's going to join us
him
later this week as well, and some other special guests. So stay tuned for that. And also, today happens to be Tuesday, and today happens to be the day we're going to be giving out several very expensive watches at Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Check them out today for more details. The more you play, the better chance you have to win. God, they've got such great food. They're great food specials.
I need to watch.
It's awesome. Very expensive watches they're giving out. We're also on the YouTube Super Chat where you can see those comments there on the bottom. Leonard is joining me in studio today, of course, as my co-host, and we're taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. A couple different topics we're discussing today. Of course, we're talking about a possible government shutdown today at midnight. Donald Trump just said it's most likely going to happen. Republicans are blaming Democrats, yet Republicans run the House. They run the Senate. And
they didn't negotiate.
They run the White House.
And they refused to negotiate.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking a little about that. I also want to get your thoughts on this racist AI video that Donald Trump put out there with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Jason. Jason is first up on PTL. Hi, Jason.
All right, Brian. Allow me just to give you a little bit of my soliloquy. When we started just talking to each other, I told you that 1861 was going to happen to Fort Sumter. And Charlie Kirk is there, Fort Sumter. So I guarantee you right now, those paramilitary little militias, the Proud Boys, the KKK, and all of them, I guarantee you they're up in the woods practicing right now for their little Civil War, Holy War that they want. I'm guaranteeing you that more than anything. And I'm more than anything, I expected Donald Trump to do that in front of the military generals. And it's a disgusting thing because I've been asking, where are the soldiers that served this country, that died for the Constitution, and are now veterans, or let this man destroy what you fought for? I don't understand all the soldiers out there, all the Marines, all the airmen, all the midshipmen that are out there right now that are watching this man that fought all these guns and watching this man destroy our country. What did you fight for? I digress.
Jason, I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you.
They'd have to sacrifice their careers, though. I mean, you have to look at it literally, because what he's proposing is that these high-ranking generals and such stand up to Donald Trump and stand up to this hypocrisy, and you're going to lose your job. So you kind of have to weigh that. And I'm not saying that they're shouldn't be willing to do that, but it's not. He's making it sound kind of simple, but I don't know. Maybe I disagree. I don't think it's that simple.
It might not be simple, but I mean, for example, I mean, pretty simply put here, it's right versus wrong. And I understand Jason's anger and frustration, and I'm with him. Jason, I appreciate your phone call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Scott. Scott is next up on PTL. Hey, Scott, what's going on?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind today?
What's on my mind is looking at human beings as human. When you demean me and you put me down, it's hard for me to go, well, yeah, you're a human being, because I want to lash back at you, and I want to call you names, and I want to call you subhuman. And that's how I look at MAGA and MAGA supporters, including a friend of mine who will be 80 in November. When she came out about 8 years ago and started going right wing, I was like, wow, okay, I didn't know you were like this. I thought of her as she reads the Bible every day, she claims, and all of the above. And I was like, wow, this is my friend? Like, who knew? And it took the luster off our friendship a little bit. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, I still love her to death, but it's like, I'm tired of being called names. I'm tired of being blamed for everything wrong in America. Us, I should say us, not just me. They're not talking to me directly. They're calling us as Democrats. They're scared. I heard Trump say something about if he's going to fix the plague. And I'm like, well, no, you're the plague, man.
Well, here's the double standard. And I've talked to Destiny about this. Here's the double standard put forth by Republicans, right? Yeah, I'll be honest. I call people buffoons. I call people names sometimes, but I'm also not the president of the United States. Donald Trump is the leader of the free world, and he literally has nicknames for people that he disagrees with. He puts out racist AI videos, but Republicans want to talk about rhetoric from the left, or they want to attack people like David Pakman or others, or people like me.
Right.
And it's like, you voted for a guy and you support the guy who literally has nicknames for people that he disagrees with, but yet we're held to the higher standard than the president of the United States.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Hypocrites.
Yeah,
all of them.
I got a nickname for him: Orange Ape, Diaper Wearing, Diarrhea Don.
I might use that one. Thank you for the call, sir. I'm with you. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Nathan. Nathan is next up on PTL. Hi, Nathan.
Yes.
Donald Trump.
Yes, sir. Lower your radio for me, please, because we're on a little bit of a delay. Just so we don't hear it in the background. That'd be great, Nathan. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I agree totally with everything that you guys say. I'm a middle of the road Democrat, and I seen the video, and I seen something like this on a documentary from the 1930s, but it was hard to understand because the narration was in German. And, it's always everybody else's fault but their own, and they're just such hypocrites. And we're run by a guy, and I understand that.
Yeah. Did we lose you there? I think we might have lost him. I appreciate
I'm here.
Okay, I think we lost you there. Go ahead and finish what you were saying. Go ahead. I think what's confusing you is the radio in the background, but I appreciate the call, sir. All right, let's go to Democrat MAGA. Democrat MAGA is next on PTO. Hello,
Did we
Democrat.
have a new name for him?
Hello, Democrat MAGA. What's going on?
Oh, am I so happy to talk to you guys today. First of all, everyone listen up. It's the number one caller voted by all of PTL.
I'm glad we made your day.
One. They all did say I'm number one.
No, I think
anyway,
I have
Leonard,
that spot, but go ahead.
I wish you were on Friday. I put on a master class in debate. Brian walked right into my trap. He didn't see this coming.
Okay, but I remember that, and you, what you had said was very vague and evasive.
So Democrat
and
MAGA
was not based in facts. I remember that.
Democrat MAGA. No. It's my show, not yours.
Is he grading himself?
Democrat MAGA. Nobody cares what you think about some debate that happened last week. Why are you calling into the show today? Nobody cares about your opinions about what you said on the show. You probably embarrassed yourself. Let's move on.
Hit us with some facts.
What would you like to talk about today?
Let me tell Leonard, because he
No, don't tell Leonard. No, don't tell Leonard. No. Either you're going to talk about the topics we're talking about today, or I'm going to hang up on you. Okay, moron. Now, what would you like to talk about? Yes.
Well,
Mr. Masterclass MAGA idiot. Okay, you're not masterclassing anybody. Okay. Do you like the do you like the speeches that Donald Trump made earlier today? Do you like what Pete Hegseth had to say? Huh? Do you like the fact that they put out a racist video with Hakeem Jeffries? You probably support that, don't you?
Okay, let your number one caller talk for a second.
I'll do what I want. You don't tell me what to do. I asked you. No. You're not going to talk. No, I'm not going to let you do anything. I just asked you a question. It's my show. You don't get to call in and do whatever you want. Okay, jackass? Now I'm going to ask you again. What happened? Oh, okay. Leonard's mic is off, so you can't even. I didn't ask for that, by the way. Numchuck did that. So answer my question. This isn't your show. Are you okay with Donald Trump putting a racist AI video out there? This is the guy who you support. Okay, Mr. Masterclass? Are you okay with that video?
He didn't put it out. He retweeted it. And
Same thing.
Nobody cares.
No. You don't care because you're a racist. You don't care. Hold this Klan member down, okay? You don't care. You see, people that have compassion care. People that aren't racist care. You don't care because you're probably a grand wizard heading to your Klan meeting tonight. When you say we don't care, You don't represent other people, okay, jackass? Okay? You want a master class? Go to your Klan meeting, and maybe you could have a master class with them on how to be more hateful. You see, most reasonable people would agree that that is a racist video. But because you don't see it as a racist video doesn't mean you represent everybody else in America. I'm sorry that you're a racist and you have such hatred in your heart. You're okay with Donald Trump.
Can I make my wager with Leonard real quick?
No, you cannot. I'm not going to give you anything until you answer my questions. You're okay with literally Donald Trump putting out a video.
Is this Dan?
That is racist. I don't know who this is. You're okay with a video of him representing Hakeem Jeffries in an AI video with racist statements. You're okay with that? Yes or no?
I'm not okay with it, but I don't really care. Nobody cares.
Okay.
You think a plumber after a hard day at work comes home to his wife and is like, "Oh my God."
Are you black?
I can't.
Are you a minority or are you white?
I'm white. I'm white.
What a shocker. What a shocker.
I could have told you that.
What a shocker. What a shocker that a middle-aged white dude. What a shocker. Will you shut up? What a shocker that a middle-aged white guy doesn't care about a racist video that the president of the United States retweets. Sir, I'm just shocked that you don't care.
Joke. Should I get all upset and have someone fired?
When you're the president of the United States, that behavior should not be tolerated. Why can't you call it out unless you're a racist yourself?
It's demeaning.
But no.
I know you don't care.
I mean, nobody cares.
I know. No.
Leonard,
It's not
can I make a wager with Leonard?
No, you can't. It's not that nobody. It's not that nobody cares. It's that you don't care because you're a middle-aged MAGA supporter and a racist. Repeat after me. I'm a racist. Go ahead and say that. And why don't you be honest for once in your life? I'll make a wager with you. I believe you have a Klan outfit in your closet. What do you think about that? Maybe we can wager on that.
If it was racist, is the Archie Bunker show racist? Is Eddie
You're going to compare.
It was absolutely racist.
First of all, two wrongs don't make a right. Second of all, we're not talking about Archie Bunker.
Yeah, the whole world was watching.
We're talking about the president of the United States, you jackass.
The whole world was watching that. How could you compare that to a TV show where there's acting? It makes no sense.
Let me be very clear. You're doing a master class on how to prove to the world that you are a racist, bigot Trump supporter. That's the master class that you're putting on here. Why don't you just admit that you're a racist, okay? Just admit it.
Well, let me make my wager with Leonard.
No, you're not going to make a wager with. I will wager that you are a Klan member. Why don't we wager on that? I will wager. No, you're not going to. No, you don't get what you want. You don't get what you want.
$100 donation to the PTL online if I lose.
Magadem, the Leonard fan.
I believe you have a Klan outfit in your closet. That's what I believe.
I'll make a $100 donation, but if I win the bet, I get 30 minutes on your show.
No, you're not going to get 3 seconds on this show.
The way you get time on the show is if you make sense. If you have an intelligent, lucid, understandable, common sense argument, you will get time to make your point.
Which you don't. I'm going to tell you, next time you call in, you're not going to talk over me. Next time you call into the show, I will give you the same amount of time Donald Trump lasted with Stormy Daniels. Your hero, by the way, 13 seconds. That's your hero. Hey, let me ask you another question. What do you think about the N-word? Have you ever called anybody the N-word before?
No, of course not.
Oh, of course not.
Only in his mind.
Yeah, only.
Leonard,
of course
you're
not.
Thinking maybe there might not be a midterm election.
Get the hell off! Get the hell off of the show. I'm not talking about the midterm election with you, you jackass, racist, bigot fool.
You think he's some lonely guy that's just sitting in his house with just anger issues, who hates everybody?
Masterclass. Yeah.
How could you grade yourself?
Yeah.
That's like giving yourself the Peace Prize.
I don't like that racist video, but who cares? Says the white guy.
He said no one cares. He said no one cares.
There are people all over the country, including Hakeem Jeffries, that do care. The problem with people like you is, and there's many problems with people like you, is that you only see it through your own racist, bigot, MAGA lens. You don't see it through others. But I guarantee you, if Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, for that matter, put out, which they never would, a racist video attacking white people, you'd be the first person calling into the show crying. And if I said, well, it was racist, but who cares? You would have a field day with me. But because they're going after minorities, you don't care. Let me be very straight with you, okay? Because you are Donald Trump's based, middle-aged, ignorant, ill-informed douchebags. That's what you are.
Thinks it's okay to hate others.
Yeah.
Thinks it's okay to hate people who are not like you, who have a different color skin or a different culture. He thinks it's okay he agrees with hating those people.
Yeah. I hope that was a good enough masterclass for you, jackass. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brian. Brian is next up on PTL. What's going on, Brian?
702. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Still there?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to address the the AI generated video Brian was putting out. I just wanted to join the conversation.
Sure. What were your comments on it?
Oh, that, it's despicable, and that this isn't politics anymore. This is just morals, really bad morals at this point.
Can you believe that the leader of the free, we're not talking about somebody who works, that you work with, or some troll on social media. That would be bad enough, right? You would probably lose your job if you did that. We're talking about the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, thinking it's funny to put out a racist AI video. Like, I can't believe the times we're living in. Brian, I can't
Where
believe
they do
it.
a voiceover of the leader of the Senate, and nothing said in that video was anything that Chuck Schumer said. Do you think that's smart?
No, that's not. I don't understand why I don't understand how anybody would even believe that. That's just I'm just completely blown.
They do. They suck it right up, and then they retweet it or repost it, and they all believe it, and they say that's right.
Think about this:
that the Mexicans and the undocumented are getting our medical coverage, and none of it's true. Literally none of it.
None of it is true. Think about this, guys, for a moment. Pretend that Kamala Harris is the president of the United States. I wish it was true. And let's just assume for a moment, as a black woman, she put out or retweeted a video that made fun of white people and said even white people aren't voting for Republicans anymore, and put out racist stuff with music in the background and maybe, I don't know, a Klan hood on the top of a Republican. You think Republicans would have been okay with that?
They would have lost their mind.
They would have lost their mind. And by the way,
they would have absolutely lost their mind.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
It would have been racist. Now, listen, Kamala Harris would never do that. A Democrat elected official would never do that. But the president of the United States did that only to the other side, attacking minorities.
Brian,
it is unbelievable.
Brian.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the news about what happened in California with that dentist, Harleen Greenwald?
I did not.
Is that recent?
So what happened was, there's video of her online at a conservative convention, quote unquote, joking that she gives her patient or her more liberal or more independent patients less anesthesia if they don't support Donald Trump.
She admitted that she treats patients who are under.
Did she lose her job?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I hope she goes to hell.
Oh my.
I hope she goes to hell.
Oh my.
That's disgusting.
You see, this is. That's why I said at the beginning of this conversation, this isn't about politics anymore. I'm sick and freaking tired of the media is not even helping with this at all. So everybody that's like not in the loop, and you talk to them about how bad Donald Trump is, and it's like they gaslight you to the max, saying that, oh, he's not doing something bad, when they just don't know any better. And it's like, dude, this isn't politics. I'm saying this because it's wrong. What he's doing is wrong. Why
CNN is tripping over themselves to stay kind of neutral. They don't have anything where they have an opinion or they call it out for being wrong. They kind of give both sides, and so even CNN is intimidated. I think they're probably afraid to get sued, right?
I would imagine there's a lot of networks that are afraid of getting
very
sued.
disappointed.
But I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, your statements, Brian, are correct. It's not about politics anymore. It's just about divisiveness, and it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad. I appreciate the call, Brian. Thank you very much. Let's go to Bruce. Bruce is next up on PTL. Hey, Bruce, what's going on?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Bruce. What's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
First of all, they get colostrum from Congo for tantalum capacitors. Without that, there's no modern electronics.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not why I called in. I just wanted to ask, especially Leonard, about not only the moral liability, but the legal liability of saving your next door neighbor from getting beaten to death by a fake ICE agent.
Well, you can, any citizen can make a citizen's arrest. Any citizen can step in and exert themselves to protect someone from serious bodily harm or death. And that's any citizen. But when the police get there, they have to determine if that's going to be legal. What you're asking is, can these guys go around in a t-shirt and jeans, and when somebody says, and they chase people down and they tackle Mexican females in the middle of the street, can you defend that female? And when you asked the person to identify themselves. They refused to. As a police officer, we had to have a badge, patches, we had to have a name tag, because what happens if we had no identification and we're going to arrest someone and that person pulls out a gun and God forbid shoots the police, and all he has to say is, I didn't know who they were. All I saw was a couple of big white guys with beards pushing this Hispanic woman down, and she was saying, help me, help me. And I think this is this is a potential violence that may occur, because we don't know. They're throwing them into a white van with no plates or a pickup truck. It's
horrible.
And blacked out windows and getting out of there.
We don't know who these people are.
And
They're
then
not even identifying them.
calling.
We
The
have a
families
more
are calling,
liability.
saying, where's my wife? Where's my grandmother? Where's my husband? And they're saying, we don't even know what facility.
Now, we
they're at.
already had this shooting that happened last week. I'm telling you, there's going to be more violence here.
It's getting way out of control.
It's completely out of control.
This is the one reason I do believe in long gun ownership, to stop the government from doing this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody, Leonard, and this is a law enforcement question, if I'm in a home and somebody doesn't identify themselves as either an ICE agent or law enforcement, and they break into your home, don't you have a right to shoot them?
Well, you still just keep in mind, after the fact, you still got to articulate why you believed your life was in danger.
If somebody's breaking into my house and I don't know who they
are they there to commit crimes against you and your children and your wife? Are they there? There's no legitimate reason for that person to be inside your house, but you still have to articulate.
I understand. So, Leonard, I agree. If I'm come from a family of, I don't know, undocumented immigrants, let's just say, which I don't, but if I did, and I'm on the street with my family and my kids, and I see a couple people with masks over their face that are not identified as law enforcement or ICE agents, I would physically want to defend my children because I don't know who they are.
And you say, who are you? Identified? No, I don't have to. And they're grabbing your child. And I've had this talk with many of my law enforcement friends. I have good friends that retired with me. And, as you know, we're allowed to carry anywhere in the United States. And the question is, what happens if I have a friend who's a Puerto Rican and black? His name's Will Crespo. And he has and his wife's black, and he has a daughter, and they walk around, going to the theater, going shopping, wherever. And, we have had talks about what happens if some guys, bunch of big white dudes with beards, jump out of a white van and they say, identify yourself. Who are you? Tell us if you're from this country. And these are people that were born in this country. He served 4 years in the military honorably and 25 years, the same as me, and retired as a lieutenant. Does that guy really, because he's a certain skin color or because he speaks Spanish, because he does speak Spanish, he does have an accent, does that person, do you get to stop them and harass them? And now, I don't want to get into a deeper discussion, but we have the 14th Amendment. The 4th Amendment guards against search and seizure. It guards against seizing citizens. You have to have a reason, an articulable reason, not just because they speak Spanish. And I believe that once Donald Trump and his regime moves on, I think the lawsuits are coming. I think
I tend to agree.
And millions, if not billions of dollars in lawsuits are coming.
I tend to agree with you. Going to the YouTube super chat, Kathy says this is all a distraction to turn attention away from the Epstein files and the money he's stealing from us taxpayers. Remember, that's what Doge was about. Well, that's actually a pretty good point, and I don't disagree with you. Any of your questions or comments can be read in the YouTube super chat. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Lori also says, the Republican wants to take everything away from us, even our pride to be an American. Other countries are laughing at us.
I agree.
And I think we are weak. Sad. Lori, I completely agree with you 150%. Sad times we're living in. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan is next up on PTL. Hey, Ryan, what's on your mind today?
Hey, so I was just calling in. I had this thought maybe last week after the Charlie Kirk shooting that we had the Red Scare in the 1950s. We had the Lavender Scare. Are we now approaching a Blue Scare? Especially after they started turning everyone in.
You're saying the Trump administration is going to go to blue states and not allow them to participate in elections? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, kind of, how during the Red Scare with McCarthyism, where if you thought your neighbor was a communist sympathizer and you turned them in, or
he's already started to do that. First of all, he's deployed the National Guard into these blue cities. Number two, We already know that he's going after his political opponents, that he's literally told Pam Bondi to go after his political opponents and weaponizing the DOJ when there's no evidence that Joe Biden did that. Donald Trump has already admitted to doing that. So he's already started that. I told you guys that this would be 4 years on a retribution tour, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I wish I had better news to tell all of you. It's going to get worse by the day.
And I'm a federal employee, and I just recently put in for a promotion. And I will let you know that there are loyalty questions now posed to you when going up for a promotion.
Loyalty to what? To a person? To an ideology? To loyal? Like what is
one of the questions on the questionnaire is literally what is one or two of your favorite Trump policies and executive orders that he has passed, and why?
That's a loaded question.
That's definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're in your position? Do you answer it honestly, or do you try to split it down the middle or appease them?
I split it down the middle and try to answer it as politically as possible by giving the military values that we live by and my oath to the Constitution of the United States of America.
Well, I agree with you. Unfortunately, Donald Trump has not only never respected the rule of law his entire life, but he has already ripped up parts of the Constitution.
Yeah, the Constitution is the Bill of Rights doesn't matter to them. The amendments don't matter to him.
Yeah.
If he could, he'd probably take away the 19th Amendment,
I'm sure,
which allows women to vote. If he could,
I'm sure he would. I actually, and I think a lot of MAGA Republicans would take that away as well. Even women that are MAGA Republicans. That's how stupid they are. 702-221-7283. Tez is next on PTL. Hey, Tez, what's going on? Hi, Tez. Go right ahead.
Hey, man, I just want to chime in on that conversation you guys had earlier. I hope you guys saw the looks of the faces of the generals that were in the audience. They didn't seem to be too pleased. It basically turned out to be a political speech, as you know, which they all do turn out to be. The other thing I wanted to mention, too, about the racist tendencies of this administration, that clip you played earlier, which mentioned 2 African countries, and predominantly not mentioning any white countries that we give aid to, probably was by design. Again, the dog whistle blows. And I just wanted to chime in on that, guys. I hope y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Tez. Good call.
but they
You're
don't,
right.
and they don't understand that. Do they even know how rich Africa is with rare earth metals and with diamonds and all the resources that we need?
Leonard,
and instead of taking advantage of that, they talk badly about him. Sorry,
Leonard, we're dealing with a president who couldn't even pass a 3rd grade civics test. I mean, you're talking about
like Hedwig.
Yeah,
I think we could just shut the country down and not let anybody hear. I mean, that makes no sense. He doesn't understand geopolitics. He doesn't understand the interactions between the Middle East and Africa.
Was that your Donald Trump?
That was Hedwig.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that didn't sound like
from
Donald
Glass.
Trump. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but isn't it the same mentality?
It
You
is.
say, how you holding up? Okay, but here's my new ballroom over here, and it just reminds me of Hedwig.
That is a good impersonation. All right, let's go to Dale. Dale is next up on PTL. Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi.
I got a question for you and then a comment.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it not Joe Biden that...
Lower your radio. Do me a favor. Lower your radio.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have
That's
a headset on and it's kind of reverbing.
Not a problem.
My bad.
That's okay. Go right ahead.
All right. Okay. Was it not Joe Biden that was trying to negotiate with the drug companies and other people?
Correct.
To lower prescription drug prices?
Yeah, I'll even take it a step
further. And the insulin.
So what Joe Biden did with insulin is he, Donald Trump started the insulin cap, but the problem is that millions of Americans weren't able to do it under their health care plan. What Joe Biden did was, and people can look this up if they don't believe me, he allowed Plan B and Plan D under health care plans to get insulin capped at $35, which meant millions of more Americans were able to get their insulin cut at $35. What did Donald Trump do the first day he was in office? He signed an executive order going back to his original insulin cap, where millions of Americans don't have access to getting their insulin cut at $35. Donald Trump is a liar. He's doing this so that he can put more money in his back pocket. And the fact of the matter is, when he says 1,400%, 1,500%, your drugs are going to be cheaper. First of all, it's a blatant lie. It's not true. And second of all, when you look at the prices and inflation and grocery prices that are going up, even MAGA Republicans are starting to call him out for it.
Can I just say one thing? Because Biden also had legislation on the table to allow pharmacies to negotiate with the insurance companies for their prices. And I don't think that ever went through. I think his presidency ended. But he did more than just lower prices on insulin.
Yep, he did a lot more.
All right, thank you for verifying that, because apparently there are a lot of people that are saying this what didn't happen before. Biden did nothing.
So it was for elderly people.
With family about this.
You had to be over a certain age, and Biden had legislation on the table also to make it $35 for all people, no matter the age.
And let me be very clear. The people, Sir Dale, that you are talking about are people that are extremely ill-informed. They're extremely uneducated, and they couldn't name you one Donald Trump policy that they like. These are uneducated people. You can't have a good faith conversation with them. There's just no way. There's no way. And sadly, we are in a situation now where there are millions of Americans that are going to be losing their Medicaid, their health care coverage. And it's sad. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Richard. Okay, check that. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. What's up, Paul?
Oh, hi there, Brian. Hi there, Leonard.
Oh, Paul.
Is
this Paul from the UK?
Hi, guys. Yeah, Paul from the UK.
What's up?
I listened in to Trump's speech today. I couldn't listen to the whole thing because I haven't got the fortitude of you guys. You're a lot tougher than me.
My job.
But what I did is I went onto YouTube and I just randomly clicked on the YouTube video because it had already happened on Trump's speech, and not one. I must have clicked half a dozen times minimum, and every time he was saying something crazy. I clicked to one and he's calling Democrats sleazebags. I clicked to another and he's boasting about renaming the Gulf of Mexico. I couldn't find a single intelligent soundbite from that orange moron. Not one. And
well, being from the UK, does it? I mean, watching America do this, how does it feel to be from another country? What do you think? I know you don't speak for the whole country, but what do you think the people in the UK are thinking of this kind of speech by an American president?
Well, we've got a funny relationship with America. It's not exactly love-hate, but on the one hand, we will, because we're complainers in England. We don't think we're the greatest at anything. We complain about everything. We even complain about the weather, and we can't do anything about that. So within 24 hours of Keir Starmer being in, we all hated him. That's how we are in England. We're cynical and complainers. Now, with America, we see all the faults. We've always seen the faults, the arrogance, the overemphasis on wealth, this sort of thing. But on the other hand, deep down, we think America does do the right thing. As Churchill said, they do everything wrong and in the end do the right thing. But watching this is inexplicable. If you had told me this was going to happen with an American presidency, I would have bet every penny I owned against it. Every penny.
I agree. Years ago, I would have said the same thing.
I would never believe this could happen. This is a true story. When, with the last election, I nearly put my whole pension on Kamala winning. I was thinking I'll double my money. I just couldn't believe you would vote that guy in for a second time. First time I could kind of work it out. You know, it was a bit of a wrestling match type situation. It was a vote for Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair or something. But the second time, after you'd seen the you-know-what show he'd done on the first term, I couldn't believe it. He's worse. He's much worse than I thought. And I can't
he's worse
believe
than he's much
American
worse.
president.
Yeah, he's much worse than I thought as well. Did you see the racist video that he put out on Truth Social? What do you make of the racist AI video?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard so much about it now, and I don't know if I could bear to watch. I've heard the audio, and it's number one, it's disgusting. It's disgusting to hear a thing like this. But an American president putting it out.
Yeah. And those videos, those types of videos are out there all over the place, all over social media.
I got to ask Paul.
But the president posted it.
Yeah, I got to ask Paul one question. Paul, do you think all the Americans that were rooting for the golfers of the Ryder Cup were all Trump supporters? I think they all were.
Of course.
They had to be, right? They had to be
entitled. Yes.
Yeah. They're so easy to pick Trump supporters. That's the good news. Is I'll give you a funny story. I'm single for all the ladies out there, but I was on a date, and halfway through, she admitted she liked Trump, and in my mind, I thought that's the end of this day.
Well, time to go.
On my profile, I added on the top, no Trump supporters. I had to add it.
What did she like about him? What did she like about him? Did she like his manly physique, his breasts?
She said, yeah, she liked he's strong. That's always she's strong. She was obviously it was in England. It was in England today, but she happened to be Ukrainian.
The guy could barely walk. What does she mean strong? What does she? What does strong mean?
And he's tough, and he says what he thinks. And I would have thought that's the worst thing he can do is say what he thinks.
So what does that mean? Does that mean if some racist uses the N-word, we should praise that person because, well, he or she says what they think? It's the dumbest. It's so stupid.
Because he says such stupid, horrible things. I think, well, he must be telling the truth because nobody will be dumb enough to make that up.
Paul, I just don't get it. I'm assuming the date didn't go very well.
Who paid?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
I already knew it was over halfway through.
So you didn't get to first. You're claiming you didn't get to first base.
I didn't get to North.
He didn't get his uniform on. Who paid for the date? Did you pay for it, or did you make her pay?
The thing is, I always pay because I'm old school.
He's a gentleman.
But I resented it. I sent her the bill afterwards, because I think at least that was,
Oh, jeez. I would have told her, hey, if we make it to the second date, I last longer than your guy 13 seconds because I'm strong. That's what I would have said. Paul, it's good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate you, Paul.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the call.
Jeez. Halfway through the date to learn that somebody not only voted for Trump, but they think he's strong. And
look at the time. I
oh
gotta
my
go.
God. You know what effect that would have on me? It'd be like I'd be swimming in cold water, if you get what I'm saying. 702, I don't care how beautiful the woman is. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Richard. Richard is next up on PTL. What's up, Richard?
Hey guys, good afternoon.
Hi, Richard.
Just thank you for actually seeing what happened, because I've gone to like other places. I don't have Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, but I've noticed that everyone from MSNBC to CNN to Midas Touch has been ridiculing Hegseth rather than actually focusing on a dictator telling officers, hey, civilians that are Democrat voters are the enemy. We're at war with your cities. Because that's what I heard, man. Like, I'm a retired Marine, and that was actually really worrying and troubling to me.
I think there's a way that we could do both. I understand what you are saying. Make no mistake about it. You are 100% correct. The stuff that Hegseth was saying, it's like a dictatorship. And what Donald Trump said about the enemy, not talking about our foreign adversaries, but talking about American citizens that are, the enemy within. You're absolutely right. And the stuff that Pete Hegseth said, really discriminatory towards women, just horrible stuff. I think there's a way that we could do both, though. I mean, go after the character or lack thereof of Pete Hegseth. We know that he's a woman abuser, according to his own mother. He's a terrible human being. And we can also say what they are putting forth is Project 2025, attacks on women, attacks on Americans. And I think there's a way that we could do both. So I get what you're saying, but we can't forget who Pete Hegseth is as well. I think there's a way we could do both. Does that make sense?
I don't know, but I just wish media would focus on that part.
Richard, can I ask you a question real quick? By the way, thank you for your service.
Yes.
How do you feel knowing that a news commentator who was only on the weekends, he wasn't even like a main news commentator, is up in front of the military, in front of career military people, not just people that came in and left, and which is fine. And he's berating them and belittling them to their face. What do you think of that?
That kind of reminds me of Rumsfeld back when we were in Iraq. And we're actually told by command to stop asking about armor because we're getting blown up and we didn't have armor to Humvees. So somebody actually asked him out there. He's like, "Hey man, why are we picking up scraps for metal and putting it on our Humvees? We don't have the equipment that we need." Dude got chewed out by command. He was ostracized.
Weren't they
And now
taking
I'm kinda seeing a
bulletproof
repeat of
vests
it,
and,
but
and
worse.
lining the inside of the trucks with Kevlar because they wouldn't provide the proper vehicles, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, but it's pretty much the same thing. Like we're hearing command telling us to shut the fuck up and do it.
Oh, watch language. Watch language. We can't say the
Yeah, you
F word.
can't
We're on the
curse. We're on
radio.
the radio, yeah.
I want to ask you, as a veteran, what went through your mind when Donald Trump said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured? I'm just wondering what went through your mind, because I don't know how any veteran could support this guy. But like when he said that, I thought that should have been the bye-bye. He's done. He can't run. I mean, that should have been disqualifying. What went through your mind when he said that?
I was really worried too, because I kept hearing young kids telling me that they believe that too, that Obama wasn't born here and that he was a secret Muslim. And I'm like, where the hell are these people getting this from? Because I wasn't on Twitter and I was on Facebook and Instagram. And now I'm kind of seeing, like, back then I was really worried about it. Now I'm kind of left out in the cold because I'm still not on those platforms and I'm still not seeing what
How
most
can
of the
you?
public is seeing it.
I don't understand how anybody could still support Trump, but let me ask you specifically: how can you be a brave man or woman like yourself who served or be serving and support a guy who dodged the military multiple times, who called people like you suckers and losers, who said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured? How can anybody who's a veteran support this guy? Like, I just don't. You hate Democrats that much? I just
I
don't
don't understand. Like, he gave us the PACT Act, and I actually see a divide between old veterans and new veterans. The old ones didn't want us to get the post 9/11 GI Bill. They said the 1970s college payment was enough for us to get by nowadays.
Yeah.
Same thing with the PACT Act. So
You're right.
I see old veterans as a different breed. They still like saying racist stuff while in uniform.
I have a lot of veteran
You
friends
guys.
who love Trump. I do. I still to this day have veteran friends who served in the military, who I respect, who think Trump can't do anything wrong. And I have to be honest with you, they seem like they're in a different reality. I don't understand it.
Yeah, because I served segregated military. I was a secret queer.
Yeah.
I didn't get to come out until afterwards, until I got therapy and everything.
Right.
But yeah, two kinds of military service members: those of us that served for real, and those guys that served and are still pretty much peaking on it nowadays. Rather than seeing it as volunteer service they did to the nation, they see it as something that like makes them better than someone else.
Well, let me say this, sir. I appreciate your service to this country. You're a hero. And quite frankly, I wish there were more people out there like you that are not only heroes, but are reasonable and can call a spade a spade. I appreciate your call, sir.
Thanks
It's
for
good
the
to
call,
hear from you.
Richard.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for the socialized healthcare, guys.
All right. You got it. You got it.
Yeah,
sir.
why not? Canada
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next up on PTL. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, did you guys happen to see that when that Pete Hegseth worked for Fox News and he threw that axe and
Yeah, I
it went
saw
over
that.
the damn target?
I saw that.
What an idiot.
Such a
and
tool.
this is the guy we got running the freaking military. The
guy's
crazy.
a complete tool.
He is a complete tool.
Yeah, he really is. He's an embarrassment. He's a terrible human being. You see the way he's treated women his entire life. This is kind of like a theme of what I think people that preach about Christianity all the time, because Pete Hegseth is one of those people. And yet, look at what Sean Hannity did. Like, Sean Hannity is a guy who preaches Christianity all the time. He divorces his wife and then starts dating somebody at Fox News that half his age. How Christian of you. Same thing with Pete Hegseth, the woman abuser himself, who cheats on his first wife with someone who works at Fox News, impregnates another woman while he's dating somebody. I mean, it's just, and they preach Christianity to us, right? And these are the same people who support Donald Trump. They're the biggest hypocrite losers on the planet.
I think that's the point, though. I think the administration likes hypocrites. They like people who are uneducated, who have a bunch of talking points, and they roll out talking points every day, but couldn't hold up one argument. In fact, if Pete Hegseth called into the show, I think he'd get crushed in a debate. I really do.
He's not a very intelligent person, and he's a bad person. And in my personal opinion, racist and bigoted in nature. He also has a tattoo on him that says 100% white.
Oh, and you could tell that tattoo he has. I don't know if it's Aryan or not, but I'm pretty sure
What normal white person that doesn't have hateful tendencies would have a tattoo that says 100% white?
Yeah, because that's all you got to say. Is that not inherently obviously racist?
Of course it
Objectively,
is.
is it not objectively racist? Can you really have a subjective argument that that's okay?
I will go back to what his mother said. He is a woman abuser, according to his mother. And then he makes his mother go on Fox News and do a retreat.
Right. So no surprise that.
By the way, she didn't. By the way, she didn't retract what she said. Let's see who we going to do next here. Let's go to John. John is next up on PTL. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, John.
Thanks for having me on. I'm totally with you guys. I mean, I understand there's certain amounts of hypocrisy and lies amongst politicians, but I've never seen anything like this before. Here's a guy that you can't believe nothing he says, even if his tongue was notarized. He lies. I think people support him because certain societal people, he allows them to be comfortable with their hates and their prejudices.
Correct.
And if you notice, the people that are okay with that are the ones that, like you said, are uneducated, they're ignorant, and they believe everything that they're told.
Yeah, they're angry, frustrated people, his MAGA base. And this guy comes along and he goes down the escalator and he actually tells them, you're angry and frustrated and you're going to lose your country, and says, and these are the people you have to blame. And then, of course, he started with Mexicans and said they're murderers and gang members and rapists. And then I'm sure some of them are okay people too. But he led with that in 2016. That's how he started.
Well, I'll say that to Trump supporters right now. There's a lot of Trump supporters out there that are bigots, that are racists, that are ignorant, that are uneducated, ill-informed. And I suppose some of the people who voted for Donald Trump are good people. Some of them might be good people. That's the way I will categorize everybody who voted for Donald Trump. Now, I've never done that before, and I've never said everybody who votes for Donald Trump is this, and I'm still not doing that now. But a lot of these people are bad people, and I suppose some of them are good
call
people.
in and change our mind.
Yeah, well, they won't do that. Let's go to Gary. Gary's next up on PTL. Hey, Gary, what's up?
Oh, is this Brian?
Yes, go right ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm watching on TV. Just talking to somebody else on TV. I'm just wondering, because I truly in my heart and my brain think Trump is going to start a civil war. When do you think it's going to start? When he really cranks it up?
Well, Gary, if you had told me that a few years ago, if Trump gets back into office, we could be facing a civil war, I probably would have called you crazy. A friend of mine who's done this show before, is Paul McKeskey, Mo, as we call him, said, I want you to watch the movie Civil War because that's what we could be facing. And I said, no, you're absolutely crazy. I don't answer it like that anymore. I say, I hope you're wrong. I hope that doesn't happen, but I can understand why you would say that. I can't believe it, but I understand why people think
I hope
that.
I'm wrong.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, though. I can understand why you would be concerned and you would say something like that when you look at the direction of where Trump is putting us right now.
Well, in the movie, the guy says, who are you? And he says, I'm an American. And he looks at him and he says, he's holding an AR-15 and he says, what kind of American? That was true. I thought that line was true.
Look at all the laws he has broken. I mean, when he's not president, there's a lot of criminal activity.
Well, that's what happened in Brazil.
That had nothing to do with the president.
They jailed their ex-president.
Yep. You're right, my friend. Listen, I hope that doesn't happen. But I go back to what I said earlier. I didn't like it when people compared Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. By the way, J.D. Vance did that. I don't like it when people use the term Nazi. I still don't like it. But I understand why people say that. Same thing with the Civil War, possible Civil War. I understand why people worry.
That 2025 playbook, that when you look back and you start in about the 1920s and 1933, when Hitler really came into power, and some of the ideology and how they shut down the legislature and the parliament, and he became the leader. And I don't know. I know you don't like to do the comparison, Brian, but if you look at it historically, move for move,
I understand why
fairly
people.
close.
I understand why people make those comparisons. Let's go to Everett. Everett is next up on PTL. Hey, Everett, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Everett.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Don't worry. We're
Okay,
we're
here
only
we go.
live
Hold
on the
on.
radio. Don't worry. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Everyone's listening.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Brian, Mr. Leonard, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Thank you, Everett.
I've been listening to you guys now for past few months, and I've been kind of feeling like I've been going crazy because things that seem so commonsensical to me just doesn't seem to be very commonsensical to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you gentlemen. My question is, I know that in many black households, we're taught, if you're pulled over by the police, of certain behaviors that you're supposed to do in that moment to save your life. And I can almost say in about 80% of most black households, that conversation is had.
Yeah.
My question is, in white households, what sort of conversation is had about black people or brown people that could allow for a president of the United States and his secretary of quote unquote war to make the type of accusations that because you have women or black people or maybe someone of a different sexual orientation, that they can be bad for the military?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I was raised to treat everybody as equals, regardless of what is between their legs or what the color of their skin is.
So was I.
It's the way I've lived my life, and it's the way I will always be. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person, and it has nothing to do with your skin color or sexual orientation. The problem is you have a lot of these MAGA supporters that are raised from racist parents, racist families.
Entitled.
Yeah, very entitled people. White privileged people is the word that I would use. And they're complicit, and they cannot see life other than the lens that they see through. And those people are what we call bigots. And it's not that every racist voted for Donald. It's not that every racist person is a person who voted for Donald Trump, but it's every racist that did vote for Donald Trump. I don't think you're going to find many racists out there that are Democrat these days. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate for me because I just know, like, coming up within my neighborhood that I grew up in, we never felt the need that we were constantly having an adversary or an opposition. Like, we understood things for what they were in certain circumstances, but we never felt like, man, this group of white folks are really destroying how we're going about our daily lives. And I just feel like for some reason, people of color and people of different sexual orientations just live rent-free in MAGA's mind to such a degree that I think it's going to make our country implode until we can have an open conversation about allowing people to be okay with to admit their racism. I feel like the country will be better if people actually admit it. Hey, I'm racist.
Well, that's what I tell these people.
Talk to me so that I cannot be racist.
That's what I tell these people, my friend. I say, stop saying DEI hire. That's your code word for the N word.
Yep.
Why don't you just say what you really mean? Okay. Because if you really want to talk about DEI hires, we could go down the list. Pete Hegseth, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What the hell are his credentials? He has no medical credentials at all.
Don Bundy,
Cash Patel. What the hell have these people done? So if you really want to talk about DEI hires, let's talk about basically
It's supposed to be merit-based. Where's the merit?
Right. The entire Trump administration. So when they attack brown people and they use the term DEI hire, what they really are is they're really calling you the N-word. That's really what they're doing. Make no mistake about it. That's exactly who they are, and that's exactly what they're doing. If a black person commits a crime, for example, right, like that heinous crime, on that train with that woman from
in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah,
horrible situation, right? But the right still talks about it. But if a MAGA supporter goes into a church and shoots up a bunch of people, notice how Fox News isn't covering it anymore. They don't cover it anymore.
And that's not hyperbole, Brian. Let me just point out that the shooter in Michigan was wearing a Trump T-shirt. He had a Trump sign on his lawn. He was a MAGA supporter.
Yeah.
That is not something that's debatable. You can try and minimize it or mitigate it or deflect it all you want or defend it all you want. But in fact, and the gentleman that did the shooting in North Carolina from the boat to the restaurant on the dock, he was a 40-year-old white male. There's no getting around that.
I agree. Let's go to Patrick. Patrick is next up on PTL. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Hi, Patrick.
Great conversation, man. A lot of good a lot of good words here. You know, we're dealing with a psyop here, right? A psychological operation.
What about?
And the gentleman that was,
I know a little bit about psyops.
Yeah, you know, the Civil War issue. I'd say we've unfortunately been at Civil War for quite a few years, maybe a couple decades. You know, we've got guys like the Project 2025 Heritage Foundation guys who are literally trying to undermine everything that America is all about.
It's interesting that you say that, Patrick, because, well, let me ask you. They used to, you know, the Civil War was people killing each other, but if in current terms, historically, if taking someone's job away and their pride and their reputation and their ability to support their family, in some ways, isn't that really putting that person to a sort of a death?
It's psychological warfare is what it is. I mean,
right. It's not killing the person, but if you take away everything they've done, some of those employees in the federal government were there for 20 years, 25 years. They had houses and car payments and mortgages just like us. And they were just given a notice and they were pushed aside.
30,000 VA employees alone.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Tell me this guy cares about anything other than himself.
Of course
he
does.
And a lot of them were
101.
mental health professionals that were let go.
Yeah.
And we have like I said yesterday, we have a real big mental health problem and addiction problem with trigger words. I got an analogy for you guys.
What about all these farmers that have lost their jobs and are losing their livelihood who voted for Donald Trump? But I guess they should be happy that at least that transgender on that volleyball team is now off the team. They should be really happy about that. Look at all these farmers that have voted for Trump that are losing their livelihood. Where are they? Why are they not speaking out? Are they still blaming Joe Biden?
They started to, and the farmers were shut down because Trump dangled some subsidies in their face to the tune of a few $100 million. And it seemed to me like as soon as he hasn't given it to them, but as soon as he dangled the subsidies, the farmers started to back off on their social media posts.
Thank you for the call, my friend. I do appreciate you, Patrick. Let's see. Let's go to Amelia. Amelia is next up on PTL. Hello, Amelia.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hi, Amelia.
Hey, listen, I want a day, right? You guys are doing great. Hey, listen, you guys always have, talk about how, these people can, follow, you know what I mean? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, it's the oldest thing in the book. Type 101, human manipulation, and right now we've got a society that's driven by algorithm. So let's do that. I mean, back in, during, when stuff like this was happening, Hitler.
Are they talking about controlling algorithms? Is that what they were saying?
I think so, yeah. Unfortunately, your phone is a little bit muffled, unfortunately, so you feel free to call back. But yeah, we had a little trouble hearing you. So I appreciate you calling in.
They do that to me, Brian. I'll be scrolling, and every once in a while, just boom, a Trump algorithm just jumps in. None of my interests, and it'll just pop in. So I think they're right.
Yeah, no, I think they're right as well. I appreciate the call, my dear. Sorry we had trouble hearing you there. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next up on PTL. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Brian? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
All right, so I'll make it short and sweet. Leonard, you're there, right? So this is for you both. Okay, cool. Well, you heard the old saying that, George Santana, Winston Churchill, Karl Marx, Mark Twain. You never heard the old saying that those who can remember the past are condemned to repeat itself? Well, it's repeating itself. You know what I'm saying? You would think that the project of the new century, you heard the project of the new century America, remember with Bush and stuff like that? You would think we would learn our lessons with that. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden what happened is that people are not learning from the project of new America, that we went to Iraq and instead of staying in Afghanistan. Now we're repeating ourselves. The same. It seems like the Republicans always comes up with some stupid plan book every single time when they're in the White House. Why is it that the Democrats don't do that? But yet the Democrats have more class when they run on a platform in a rally saying that, okay, we're going to have universal health care, or, cover, when Obama, said he was going to have 50 million people are covered on Medicaid or Medi-Cal or whatever. Look at people don't understand that these Republicans are going to take away everything that you own: your Social Security, your Medicaid, your dental, what else? Wage. They're there to steal. They're a bunch of thieves.
They're a very regressive culture.
They're thieves.
Yeah.
They want regression. They want to go back to the past.
Oh, there's no question about
Just
that.
like it's sad. It's just people don't. You would think that we would learn our lessons with the past war,
But not if they
and
want to be
everything beyond
regressive.
that.
They want to regress. They don't. There's progressive and there's regressive, and most of the conservative Republicans, especially the MAGAs, are a regressive culture who wants to go back to. I don't even know what they're talking about when they say "Make America Great Again." I assume they want to go back to Civil War times and no
Slavery.
rules and no laws and slavery.
Absolutely.
And even Charlie
Women
Kirk,
not being allowed to vote.
Charlie Kirk was upset about slavery being abolished in I think he used to use 1951. He said it was the Civil Rights Act. He didn't like it. So what does that tell you about him?
Yeah, and it is why there's a fine line difference between celebrating somebody's death, which obviously I did not do, and not wanting to celebrate their life. I refuse to sit here on this show or anywhere and celebrate the life of a bigot.
Brian, anyone who can't understand that is full of crap. We can't say any curse words.
Listen,
because it's easy to understand that people are saying, while I believe that political violence and the murder is wrong and never supported.
So Riley,
on the other hand,
Riley Gaines made that statement when I was on Pierce Morgan with her last week. And I asked Riley
She's
Gaines.
such a phony.
Oh, she's a transgender grifter, is
She's
what
a
I would call
phony.
her. And I called her out, and of course Pierce took her side. And I said to her, because she said elected Democrats are celebrating the death. I said, can you name me one? She couldn't name me one, and she still hasn't. There is a difference between what Ilhan Omar and Ocasio-Cortez have said, which, by the way, I agree with them. Violence should be called out on either side of the aisle.
But he was not a good person, and he preached hate.
Yeah, he preached hate. He was not a good guy. Doesn't mean I wished murder upon him, which I didn't. I was emotional on the air when it happened. But these stupid MAGA Republicans, and yes, many of them are very stupid, and they can't understand the difference between celebrating somebody's death, which no elected officials are doing, and not wanting to celebrate their life. Okay, when I went to Charlie Kirk's vigil, not because I wanted to, but I went to Colorado State with the UNF America tour. I walked into
Because you're invited.
Yeah, I walked into that vigil for 5 minutes and I left. Why did I leave? Number one, I didn't want to honor his life. Number two, I felt very uncomfortable. Number three, it felt like a Klan rally. Okay, doesn't mean that I'm celebrating his death. I would never do that. But I felt uncomfortable being at that vigil because it'd be like if I went to in my personal opinion, when you go to a vigil, and listen, I'm not comparing Charlie Kirk to O.J. Simpson. Okay, Charlie Kirk never violently did anything to anybody. I do believe O.J. Simpson's double murder, but would you have felt comfortable going to O.J. Simpson's wake or something because he was a great football player?
Brian,
No,
what you're
of course
saying
not.
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, of
You could
course
take
not.
a child in elementary school and explain to them what you're trying to say, and they would understand. Okay, I think what happened to the person was terrible, but at the same time,
not going to honor him.
I'm not going to honor what kind of person he was because he was sowing hate and division. He was someone who talked terribly about black women, educated black women. He talked terribly about minorities and other races. He hated empathy. Who hates empathy? I mean, what kind of people?
Well, I think it goes without showing. And for anybody out there that thinks Charlie Kirk is a great guy, I think you're a complete idiot. Let's go to Casey. Casey is next up on PTL. What's up, Casey? Hi, Casey. Are you there? I think we lost Casey. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Julie. Julie is next up on PTL. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Brian. I tried to call in yesterday, didn't get in, but let me make my point. Hold on, I gotta pause the TV.
You're going to hear an
how there's been gun violence?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's been gun violence. Well, literally nearby my house, 2 17-year-old boys got a hold of a gun and robbed some people nearby my house, and I even heard the gunshot.
Well, Republicans would say more guns make us safer. MAGA buffoons would say, make it easier for people to get their access on guns. But then when a MAGA supporter goes into a church and shoots up a bunch of innocent people, then all of a sudden they want to talk about mental health and mental illness, but yet they vote against bills that would allocate more money to help people that are mentally ill. And the big and beautiful bill, taking away health care from over 15 million people. Many of those people, sadly, are mentally ill. What's going to happen to those people if they get their hands on a weapon?
Deflecting from the real problem.
Guys weren't mentally ill. They were probably desperate because they were starving because of the prices being so damn high.
Well, obviously
Probably-
the shooters?
Obviously, that can't be an excuse for holding somebody at gunpoint.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what that's probably what was happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm unaware. All I will say is there are some
I'm
people
sorry,
out there that are shoplifting, not using a
What
weapon.
did she say it might have been? They were hungry and stuff?
Maybe they.
Well, let me
yeah.
tell you something. I wasn't always a police officer, okay? And I struggled. And I was hungry. I didn't have a place to live. I slept in the desert a couple times. There were times when I was really down to my last dollar. It never occurred to me to commit crimes. Never occurred to me. And I was a gun owner. Never occurred to me to use a
So
gun.
basically, what you're saying is you weren't an insurrectionist. That's what you're saying. Thank you for the thank you for
I'm
the
not
call.
making excuses. I'm
No,
just
I know you're not.
explaining.
I know you're not. I know you're not, my dear, and I appreciate your call. Yeah, I mean,
no, she wasn't advocating for
No,
them,
I know
but-
that.
But I just want to make the point that even if you are hungry, okay, even if we had a 16-year-old boy steal from Walmart once, and I got a call because they didn't want to arrest him, and I had to okay it as a supervisor. You know what he did? He stole about $6 worth of chicken. He was walking down the aisle eating the chicken and didn't pay for it. So I told him that if Walmart didn't want to let him go, that I would come down there and pay for the chicken, but don't arrest him. He was
Good
a
for
hurry
you.
kid after school.
Good for you. Yeah,
Right, but does that
that's
kid
absurd.
really need to be arrested?
Can I ask you a
Does
question?
he really need to go to jail?
What was the color of his skin?
He was black.
Oh, what a shocker! What a shocker!
I didn't want to say that, but you
what a
brought it
shocker
out.
that the people at Walmart wanted to arrest a kid because
Well, it was the security guys. We're
Yeah.
all wound up, and then the cop goes there, and he has enough sense to call me because I have to authorize it if they don't. And I said, "What does Walmart want to do?" And I said, "If they want him charged, I will come down there and pay for it myself." And then they called me back, and they said, "That's okay. We're just going to let him go."
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
"Okay. Can you call
I'm
his
wondering
parents
if
and get him a ride
I'm
home?"
wondering if that was a white kid, if they would have done the same thing.
I probably have so many examples of that kind of. I don't remember it ever happening that way, but it was in a black neighborhood, and it was a 16-year-old who left school and hadn't eaten all day, and he went down the aisle with chicken, and he was stopped, which I don't advocate stealing at all,
right?
And I don't think it's right to help him pay for that because he was stealing from someone else.
Right.
It's never
But
right.
arrest him? Come on.
But you have to have common sense,
Right,
Brian. This
right.
is what the MAGAs don't realize.
I agree.
You have to have some kind of empathy, some compassion for
Well,
other
Charlie
people.
Kirk didn't like that word, so let's.
No, he didn't like common sense either.
Yeah, let's certainly not give him any empathy. But anyway, Leonard, thank you so much for being here. You'll be back tomorrow.
Is the time up already?
It is. So, programming note for you. I love having this guy on. You know, Adam Mockler's been doing my show for years.
He's a beast.
Way before he joined Midas Touch, way before he was on the CNN panels. Adam is a friend of mine. I'm going to ask him tomorrow about all the battles he's done with Mr. Wonderful and Scott Jennings, because he has just tore them up. And we're going to be talking to him tomorrow. So the awesome Adam Mockler is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. Anthony Scaramucci later on in the week as well. So it should be fun. And Leonard, I appreciate you being here. You know, I got to work today right before the show because I was doing another podcast.
Which podcast?
That I was invited to. Maybe I'll explain it a little bit more tomorrow because I don't think we have time right now. But yeah, I was doing another show and I had to race to get here. So I'm glad I didn't get a ticket from the police.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Leonard, we'll see you back here tomorrow, and we'll see all of you hopefully back tomorrow as well. Go to the website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, you see that little icon there on the upper right-hand corner. If you use your phone to do that, it will take you right to my website. We accept any donations, $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever you could afford. We appreciate it. We are an independently owned radio show, so we rely on good people like you to support what we do. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I love all you guys at PTL Nation, even some of you MAGA supporters. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine.